How's it going, everyone? My name is Shizukira, and today we are going to be going over the Stage 2 results for the Combatant Popularity Contest, as well as talking about the quarterfinals that will be starting once this video goes up. So, just quickly, before we get into the results, the quarterfinal matches will be shown here, but they will also be shown on the second page because that way they are closer together, and it is just easier to look at the bracket that way. So, starting from the next video where we cover the quarterfinal winners, we will be looking at this page. I'll also put here to just go to the next page instead of looking at this one because then it's a pain to scroll down for the quarterfinal matches. If you're looking at the spreadsheet, just go to the next page and this is where we will be until the end of the bracket. With that being said, let's get into the winners of Stage 2. So, starting off with Selena versus Chizuru. I personally voted for Chizuru on this one, and the winner with 62.5% of the vote is going to be Chizuru. I feel like this one was kind of expected, to be fair. People just know more about Chizuru than they do about Selena. Maybe after the game comes out, things might change, but at least for me, it's always going to be Chizuru in this matchup. Next, moving on to Magna and Renoa. I had personally gone for Magna on this one, and with 62.5% again of the vote, it's going to be Renoa, which honestly, kind of surprising to me. A lot of people talk about Magna. I was kind of expecting it to be Magna in this case, but no, Renoa, with nearly 2/3 of the vote, is going to be moving on to the quarterfinals to go against Chizuru. Next up, we have an interesting one here of Khalip versus Yuki. And this one was actually really close, with 52.8% of the vote. The one moving on to the quarterfinals is going to be Khalip, which honestly, I was kind of surprised, and I'm surprised how close this one ended up being. But yes, Khalip just barely winning out over Yuki, going on to the quarterfinals. The next matchup is then going to be between Olia and Mei Lin, and the one who wins here will go against Khalip. Again, this was an incredibly close one. I think I went for Olia? Nope, never mind. I went for Mei Lin on this one. And the person who won with 51.4% of the vote, by 2 votes, the winner is going to be Olia. Which, look, I'm not surprised this one was close. This was probably the hardest one for me to decide. The Khalip-Yuki matchup was kind of difficult, but I think Olia Mei Lin was the hardest one for me to make my mind up on in this round. But yes, we will be getting Olia versus Khalip in the quarterfinals over the next 2 days. Again, the voting and stuff will be in the description. We'll go over that more at the end of this. For now, the next matchup is going to be Rin versus Luke, and I already know that I went for Rin on this one. And the winner of this, with 72.2% of the vote, is of course Rin. I don't think it's super surprising. People like their waifus in this game. I really like Luke, but Luke isn't Rin. So he managed to get through the first round. He managed to beat out Nia over here. But against Rin, it's an unstoppable force. He's just not quite able to do it. The next matchup we're then going to be looking at is Ray versus Beryl. I believe I went for Ray on this one. And this was also a decent landslide. The winner of this one is going to be Ray, beating out Beryl with 70.8%. So this is also kind of a landslide victory, this one. I'm not super surprised. Honestly, I'm more surprised that Beryl managed to beat out Sarah. But fair enough. But you're not beating out Ray. I think we could all tell that wasn't going to happen. Which means that in the quarterfinals, we will have Rin versus Ray, which I find a kind of funny matchup. But moving on to the next one, Hugo versus Cassius. Now, people in the Discord will know I'm a bit of a Hugo hater. It's mostly just for fun. I don't hate Hugo. Hugo's chill. But I like to, meme on the furries a little bit. So I did personally vote for Cassius. Cassius is my boy. He's from my favorite faction, which is Peltion. But all that aside, the person who will be moving on to the quarterfinals with 69.4% of the vote is going to be Cassius. I swear I did not rig this. I'm sorry, Hugo enjoyers. Please do not DDoS me. But he will, unfortunately, be going out in his first round. He technically made it to stage 2. Is it because he wasn't in stage 1? Yes, but he technically made it to stage 2. But it is going to be Cassius moving on. And the final stage 2 matchup that we have is Naja versus Owen. I, of course, went for Naja, another Peltion member who I'm really looking forward to. And with 84.7% of the vote, the biggest landslide of any match in Stage 2 is going to be Naja. Look, I feel bad for Owen. Owen's cool, right? We already saw that we're going to be able to control Owen very, very early into the game. But unfortunately, Naja clears. Naja just clears. So, while I'm happy Cassius made it through, I have a feeling this is the end of the road for him already. So, with all that being said, I'm going to fill in the win percentages as well as the matches for the next round, and then we will go over that in just a second. Okay, so all the percentages have been filled in on the spreadsheet if you want to take a look at those. I've also put up here to go to the next page, and also if you go to look at the quarterfinal bracket, it says just go to the next page. So here we have the matches that will be going on for the next 2 days. We're going to have Chizuru versus Renoa, Khalip versus Aulia, Rin versus Ray, and Cassius versus Naja. So as always, the link to the form will be in the description as soon as this goes up, as well as a link to the spreadsheet. Feel free to join the Discord if you would like to. You do not have to. The option is just there if you would like. We're slowly getting closer and closer to that playtest, which I will be covering as soon as I can, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But with that all said, that is going to be it from me today. In 2 days, we will have another video going over the winners of the quarterfinals, as well as announcing the semifinals. But until then, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Stay safe.